here as well to try and start to disrupt that mid-rounding that we've already heard Boaster is so good at.
Oh, lots of players stacked up on that B side, but his Batu, who's going to have the pressure applied well and truly onto him. He's falling back out of C, just about making it with the pain shells at his heels, and the rotations have pulled in. Apeks with 4 players towards C now, 1 on B, and look at the space taken on the other side of the map. Fully walking up on A and finding themselves an open site.
Even selling the idea with the paranoia being thrown through from the defense. Even still, though, that time is ticking. Spike is only just making its way forward, and with a player advantage right now, pretty decent position for Apeks to try and fight back into this one. You can already witness some deep control being held onto by Chronicle.
Reason, which I really hope it's not. That's an absolute killer to start us.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Get themselves back in late into the round. I think that's been the real...
From MOLSI, Florescent is here as she has been the whole round, but Governor has come in to fill the space, looking for the fight, and crashies is the one to win it as the rest of the attackers move into the B site, meeting up with that late play from Alfajer, who's been containing that deep push. So they're going to get themselves on site with double the time of last time, and this time, they've got the plan.
They've done it.
Round of applause, please. But in the meantime, Florescent has been able to get one back, putting things into an even scenario. kaajak in a solid position, but somewhat isolated. It doesn't seem to matter, though. 2 quick and easy picks. And with Batu already dangerously low, a smoke and a nade to try and run through. This is looking like a done deal. No hope, it seems, for the Clutch Meister himself.
First time round as well. And now we can see what's the approach going to be. Now that Apeks understands they're going to play this slightly slower
B site. They've lined up with a firing squad waiting, a trap set, and MOLSI walked into it.
This is the problem. Consistent movement out from this Apeks squad is currently leaving them in a scenario where they're having to constantly go back to re-clear positions. And MOLSI's not the player you want to lose. Some of that regenerative utility already gone.
Absolutely. I think if they continue to use this B main space to punish those faster defensive rotations through the B site, Apeks are going to be in a lot of trouble if they can't find a solution to it.
This is a problem. AvovA isolated, the rest of the team not particularly close. Alfajer lurking, could almost end this round in its tracks. Or even the player towards that defender spawn has been spotted. This retake definitely not going to be easy, and you have to bear in mind this is a quote-unquote bonus round.
Back into the salvo. Barely holding on to life is kaajak, but with the showstopper online, 3 HP, you're not likely to use it in a 5v2, turn 5v1. Definitely not the time to deploy any ultimates. It should be an easy conversion. Batu trying his...
Yeah, this so far hasn't worked. kaajak is walking through the snake fight. Absolute lunatic, gets punished, but this almost keeps players on the other side of the map. You've got the hold from Governor. Potentially going to try and deny with the salvos, but that denial will not do enough. crashies' position is so aggressive, it's not expected by AvovA.
No, and now we're in a really, a much more difficult position. I thought crashies would turtle, come back to the rest of the squad, play the post plant, but he swings out wide, catches a player on stairs, and leaves this in a position. I mean, 4-0, looking at a 5th round for FNATIC, and with the rifles in play, an operator still in their hands, they might have wanted to hold on to those for the next one.
Earlier, Tom, of looking at this...
Winning without their own. And that's probably the more worrying prospect. Boaster has just teleported through the utility, but then AvovA just TPs up top. Not exactly expected. I think he's escaped the showstopper as well, so a huge amount of damage with ults. And then the stun combined, I believe, with the smoke and that Armageddon has torn apart FNATIC. A great start to the round from Apeks.
Especially when we've seen FNATIC take so many of these rounds so slowly. The one time that they go for that little bit of aggression, it's met pound for pound by Apeks. A beautiful adaptation from this squad, and now what should be their first round on the board.
Exactly, and that's what we're looking for out of Apeks now. What have you got that you can take it to FNATIC with?
Careful.
Watching here.
How much does kaajak have?
That one's free. Okay. Florescent's not missing that shot. I would have bet my house on it.
I got the spike.
Or Alpha. He's no AvovA. He is up against. If it was AvovA, I believe in the clutch, but so much space.
Do you remember who Alfajer is? Did you watch Lock-in? Have you seen any of these events?
He's not AvovA.
Alfajer, yeah, he's not AvovA.
my #1.
But he has a couple more trophies at AvovA.
I do remember one on Icebox B main. He had quite a good job of clutching up against a certain team in a certain grand final, I think.
So it's a spot where, again, we go back to those clears. I think the Prowler usage that comes out from crashies is integral, but this one has left a gap. They're aware of it, but it doesn't matter.
Very clean engagement. The lurk out here from Chronicle set to meet AvovA any moment now. Waits on the other side. Alfajer's bot had delayed him as Alpha takes that kill on B. At this point, it seems clear Alpha's the lurk. The C hits where it's coming in, and that's why AvovA's still poking his head up that deep on A. But he'll lose his life for his trouble, and now that A site wide open with a TP in from Boaster, Apeks won't be able to rotate ahead of this play. FNATIC should have themselves a free plant.
My ultimate is ready.
Batu's dropping down.
Getting flashbacks to around the never was. They got so much information about where two of these players are. Even going to put the lockdown in, don't mind it. It's going to force them into an awkward position, cycle those ultimates back from this stage. Batu should be screwed and eventually will be for Floor again. The question is about saving that operator a chance of victory.
And start looking to isolate the...
Half a round sat in their own spawn. Like, look, they're just watching as all of this utility goes. They'll wait it out and then look to re-clear it moments later.
And the only time they did in the Armageddon came in to greet them alongside a stun, so understandable. This time a little bit of a switch up with Florescent and MOLSI pushing. It's been AvovA dropped towards A for a couple rounds. They swap it up, they put the op there, early aggro, deleted immediately. And FNATIC, they're not even breaking a sweat on this
They didn't
push.
even use a Prowler in the initial clear. They were so confident in winning those fights that they sent basically no util. They just dry cleared and used them later on in the round. This is just a sweep. They were talking about waves, right? Well, this has turned into a tsunami and their opponents are getting washed away.
Yeah, and hoping to flood back in here, perhaps a chance. Two players with two picks, but it's AvovA low HP and dealt with by Alfajer. Batu, the last man standing, 3 to pick up, waiting for that initial contact and swinging.
Before that, it was, yeah, these re-aggressive clears even when having a player advantage. Well, here goes the showstopper. B site clear. No one going to resist this? No.
Look at the extremities of the map, though. Boaster is sitting outside C. You've got a late lurk as well by crashies. They know that they're likely to hit a bunch of these ultimates on their way through, or on Apex's way back in. And so the solution is to send out those extremity plays, but Boaster being caught limits their options somewhat. 12 seconds left. Plant is actually found. The ult from Florescent not landing. Alpha maintains control, but it's stolen away by Governor. 2 quick op shots, and it's back into Apex's favor. We've not seen them with this level of an advantage since that ult from Governor, and again, he is the difference maker, but crashies on the late lurk. Kaajak with another. The defuse underway, though! Future of this map, perhaps this series, 9-2. Apeks, they've won 2 rounds that feel like flash in the pan. Now we need to see them really start to cook with gas, and it's AvovA opening it up, but the immediate response is there. Luckily, Batu had taken quite an aggressive position, and possibly the deepest Viper ultimate that I've seen put into play here on Lotus, past Mound,
just to slow
and he's
them
just
down.
bailed out, yeah.
I think he thought he was being rushed. Instead, he's being flanked. He does seem to have a decent idea on it, though. Catching a couple eventually will be cleared, but there's another player that they had to look for. Leaving crashies alone in the clutch. Now, one off a Nightfall. Will be garnered by the plant. Knows that there's nobody close, although, while the plant has been delayed. This could make this a much more problematic scenario with 2 players already coming in on the flank. He's going to have to get this bang on. Solid utility immediately thrown, fully committed to this side of the map. And there are, well, 2, maybe even a 3rd player about to wrap in. The salvos will make it awkward, but actually Boaster goes forward, takes things into his own hands. That's a huge start.
He really is shooting, isn't he? A double opener, and then the hope here from Apeks that the Viper wall alongside the door open on A would drag rotations. It has not worked out. Not even a sliver of hope on that C push, but they'll go back to it again. Opening the door to B, trying to drag rotates and dropping Boaster. Okay, a good start. MOLSI, even in for another. That's him, I think, tripling his kills already. A confidence builder with a 3rd. And it's Alfajer. Chronicle on the way to back him up. 8 seconds left, though. They can just throw themselves at Batu and stop this plant. Win off of time. And in fact, he sealed his fate. Both kills need.
Okay, looking at how confident you can be on the map when you go back into practice, you absolutely go for it, for sure. Yeah. But if it doesn't go well, and that hasn't for Florescent or Batu.
That's the one fight the Chronicle wanted. Having that SMG in hand didn't really allow for many other angles, and now it's the same thing. Okay, that hasn't worked. Let's just try and go back into the B site. Well, guess what? The FNATIC players are already waiting And they're not going to overface here either. Kaajak is one away from having the showstopper. This is a done deal. Like, having that ultimate in this sort of scenario should have removed MOLSI from action. That's at least one, and somehow MOLSI has found one more. Maybe there's some hope.
They've gotten overeager going in for those final fights, trying to force the issue. We talk about clutches of AvovA essentially in one here. MOLSI 19 HP.
Hit both
Rolling
of them.
Thunder catches both. That's a lot of time running down now. It seemed to be a certainty that FNATIC would be on 12, that the map would be almost in their pocket, but now they need to fight their way back in.
A few moments towards the end of it where he looked decent. I think it was week 1 here. He looked unbelievable, and he's bringing that same...
He's a guy that doesn't die early and often wins clutches. That's a recipe for disaster if you're up against him. Kaajak going down early, but it's all AvovA. Wise to his tricks, catches Alfajer out, and now a 3 versus 5. Somehow, it feels like those two picks, though, just about even the scales.
It's been a weird one.
That's brutal.
Florescent already spotting out information, even still playing it safe and using an ultimate to make sure everything is clear and
the results going this way.
That player, which it seems like Alfajer here might be the target, but playing so passively, and the second they pop any of that util, the orb goes up, Snakebite could be thrown into position as well. It has been.
30 seconds
And now you're looking
left.
at 30 seconds and potentially a very late hit towards B.
Yeah, that timer running down, but door open. They'll be making their way to the B site, relatively undefended. It's players that can be pushed back by utility, but Chronicle steps ahead after the stun, grabs one, that spike down, and another! A beautiful connection. But the response is there from Apeks. If they can stop this plant on FNATIC, it will be done. The nade is on its way. It might be a little bit too much to the right. No, it's spot on and Florescent down, but the plant just in time. Apeks still in with a chance. Some rounds have felt like a ship without a rudder, but now they'll finally need to find their direction with FNATIC coming all from one spot through the smoke, and they're put in the dirt. Left into the hands of Bad2, and the spray, it doesn't land. FNATIC 13.
Absolutely. Not feeling confident though.
Well, barriers up for FNATIC, and already they're off to the races, blitzing in towards this A site, taking Heaven control. And there is only one defender here. It will be AvovA, perhaps forced to give up the space. The adaptation from Apeks seems to be this quick push down through the sewers. They'll be taking a lot of control as they wrap their way around. So as this is delayed slightly in making the spikes way onto the site, that gives a real opportunity for those players coming up behind, and it's Batu to connect.
This is the issue, not having that classic Sentinel. Means you have to have eyes on these positions. They're going full fighting. They want to try and get rid of Florescent, and that's exactly what Kaajak will do. The rest of the players on Apeks, though, have not just been sitting pretty. They have evened things up.
And they have Alfajer tagged low as well, and Chronicle with the pressure on and players all around. He's the only one on the site. They're now trying to wrap up and get Heaven control, but it's halfway diffused already from Apeks. Pressure very much on, and Chronicle, oh, it's Alpha, in fact, covering him. They force Batu back towards screens. Will claim control of Heaven. Wrap coming back in through vents, though. Now they're in a dangerous position. Surrounded on both sides, and a gap in the wall gives MOLSI the spot to walk up. Almost took crashies out as well, lighting him up heavy. The decay left him on 1 HP, 29 as it fades, but dropped by Florescent. Apeks working back through the vents, but now they're boxed in. They found themselves in their own trap as Boaster comes up behind. Makes it back out towards middle and buys the space for Kaajak, but the shots don't land as we thought they would. It's Boaster to clean up, and we're back in a neck-on-neck position. But the problem is Spike up in Heaven, and 2 players still on A, where the Spike now basically has to go. They're going to run in the other direction. 12 seconds? That's a bold play. If it's even possible, I don't think they can get to the site.
They're not going to make it, even if they do. AvovA's there ready and waiting to the that round, and Batu immediately. That is just crashies gone. We've talked about the importance of his utility, re-clearing angles, and their takes onto the site. Well, that is gone for this round.
But now they're going to have to be super aggressive in this round without that.
So you've taken a few blows as well. The scars are showing. Kaajak looking for a battle up in Heaven, but MOLSI's the one to pick that up, an easy lurk as the smoke went down. And Florescent's got a little off angle as well. The barrel was spotted, luckily. Player was spotted just after.
Alfajer is not particularly good in clutches, so
2v4.
We'll have to see.
Uh-oh.
Good start. One down already. And with an isolated player over on the B side, Showstopper is more so going to be used to garner space. I like the positioning of AvovA, just holding on to this spot.
AvovA's read this so well. In terms of that reaction, being able to hold on to this space advantage going into the post plan, in addition to the numbers advantage as well, it should be everything they need.
Alpha with a chance here. Oh, that was close. A few shots whizzed past their head, but Apeks easily able to close that, and Governor knew he was
that will change that dynamic for Fnatic, because yeah, say you do want to go for a more direct hit, you might just walk straight into an opponent. The problem though, Governor maybe not realizing what sort of round they're in, and well, we're back to Summon FC. This is not what I expected to see.
Kron's taking another pickup on A. There's weapons aplenty to be recovered. Blast pack through from Florescent, but there's a lot of numbers coming her way in the sneaky position of Alpha. Oh, shoots a little too early. Tries to take out the barrel. The player survives that engagement, but just takes that. So Boaster goes back to finish the job.
It really did seem like around where I'm a little bit perplexed as to what the plan.
Stepping back a moment, just following the gate crash, but it's being destroyed inside the vent, so Fnatic won't have that freeway out, and kaajak commits to the backside. Doesn't have any gate crash left to play with. He is very much stuck, and he's now being seen. Showstopper's on its way, and kaajak is out of the round, but this was all a fake, a ruse, as they move into the A site, filling the space that only Batu now occupies. MOLSI will come in to cover his back.
20 seconds.
Might just get into this sneaky spot on backside with the time so low. This could be the difference maker. I thought they'd be going. They've not gone out of heaven. The spike needs to go. It's 10 seconds. They've got the kills, but they haven't found Batu. If he can stop this plant, he could save the round, but too late to the party. Picks up a few anyways, and it's Boaster to do it all. Running about, scared of players in the elbow, but it's AvovA for
problems for Governor has been a bit of an issue, but I like this dimensional drift thrown through. This will give them everything they need in terms of information. It's just whether or not Governor can find anything on the site, and the answer is no. Batu, though, actually commits the shotgun pulled out of pocket and has kept things even for now.
The plant's acquired. Pit, Apeks ready to fight their way back through, but that's when the pit comes up. Chronicle playing around the edge. It's a risk, and it might not pay off here. It got dicey, but crashies has bailed him out of a bad situation. kaajak up close, 30 HP, and he's got AvovA looking the other way. Batu's the last man standing. A rifle in his hand, credits waning on his side, but even getting out of here is going to be difficult. They've gone for the push.
Holding it for the later round scenarios, and well, there you go, you know the operators there. Methodical as always by Fnatic, and Alpha just leaving it late in those mid-round scenarios. Batu's still here though. That operator deadly as ever, but you have to bear in mind that is basically the only weapon they have. The thing really on their side though is that clock starting to tick down, starting to get very late. These close corners causing issues. 8 seconds for them to get that spike down, but they've done it with a few seconds to spare.
Showstopper, and it's found one! That's the pick, but kajak's keeping them in it. Looking to capture his inner crashies with those big clutches. In the reposition, getting ahead of the nade might not be expected. Florescent's looking the wrong way!
For this set retake round. Let's see what they've got with it.
Look at this nasty little position in play.
30 seconds left.
This could cause big problems. Chronicle
Spike planted.
holding that control late. Oh, I think he's going for the flank. If he wraps around on A, he'll be way too late to the party. But if he goes back to heaven now, a perfectly timed flank possible. Already though, Apeks flooding into the site.
Lovely.
Double pick from Florescent's nade. Well, Chronicle better hurry up. It's only kaajak left, and position given away. Governor with the push back, and kaajak, well, he is left locked out of the site, and trying just to save the weapon to the next is I suppose, the only option available to.
Gravy.
Ult used by kaajak. This is going to be an aggressive one. Flash already popped as Batu is just forced backwards. Kajak's on him, and he's gone for it! That's a bold play.
That's rude.
I'm not sure that that's going to work out, even if we run it back a couple more times. Batu's hitting those shots, and Fnatic gonna trying to exploit the space towards middle. It's Boaster. We've seen this from Alfajer a couple of times, being able to find that late play up into heaven. This time Boaster, I think, makes a bit more sense to leave him behind. Problem is, Apeks have just conceded the space. They've fallen back. They know now with the advantage, they're not the ones that need to make a move.
Happy to commit 2 players to the back of site. We've seen Fnatic many a time slow down. MOLSI being cleared though. I don't know why it felt inevitable. I think it was just the spray through. in towards that orb, but that will even things up. Boaster has got an incredible timing as well. Florescent is completely unaware, but he doesn't opt to push it. Doesn't know how far he's managed to get, but maybe also doesn't want to give the game away as his teammates look to rotate the Spectre. Eventually will do the work, and now Florescent knows the game is up. They're on the B side, but just waits to see if she can catch Alfajer. This pick could be everything. Having Heaven control could be huge, but they left Chronicle behind, another piece exactly the same, and now Alfajer pounces as well. Similarly to Lotus, just leaving a couple every once in a while in an off angle. And for Governor, well, it would need to be on others to turn the tide. Looking like very aggressive. What? What? Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Kajak's just been shown how it's done when you teleport into your opponent's face and find the kill anyway.
That's one way to do it. All right. Florescent already had a much better first half. She's popped off onto Boaster and left the B site firmly into Apex's control. Now,
he wins them as well, which is the important bit. Because it's those sort of duels that can genuinely define rounds like this, and then the start of a half, or even if it comes later in a half, it can define how a map goes. One sort of multi-kill coming into these rounds. Floor getting the first here, getting the second onto Boaster, and then cleaning up, spamming the body, absolutely feeling the confidence.
Just Chronicle things.
Yeah, Chronicle, he's really been a thorn in the side when he's on that solo control, playing on the light side of the map. Well, always looks a little heavier with him around. Flash through to A as they clear it out, and Apeks realize there's nobody home. FNATIC up in Heaven. And they'll be spamming down from above, but having now to fight back into the pistols could play into Apex's favor, especially as you're highlighting, pal, with this wall that, if perfectly timed, FNATIC will have to run through. That gives the pistols a real leg up.
Absolutely. You look at FNATIC, they've not got much area of effect util. Stuff can do damage outside of that Raise Nade, which they've already used. So Apeks can just sit behind and bunker behind this Viper wall.
They put the wall down as well, waiting for those toxins to charge right back up, knowing that this isn't the trigger for FNATIC just yet, and when it comes through, when they step up, here comes the wall. You gotta walk through it. Alpha takes a different route, diving into the back, creates that space, but the showstopper cut off a little too early. It could have. It's gone.
Oh, this is nice for FNATIC.
Ready. In the last round, we'll have to just sit and watch the remainder crashies. Not going to overface, and this is the thing I always like with the FNATIC squad, is they're happy to sit that little bit more passive once having an advantage. AvovA is desperately trying to make a play into the B side. In fact, the spike is currently running all the way back through the spawn. I'm more interested in Batu.
He's got a great position. Sneaking in through Heaven, and look, they're so focused on AvovA that Batu can come swinging in from above. A 2 versus 2, a retake for FNATIC as the plant is undoubtedly coming in. The players are in sewers at the moment. And most importantly, on this retake, kaajak has an operator. Might want to trade that out, but I'm just looking at where he is. I don't think he has the opportunity. So instead, they'll move from main. And you can see that if he is the one to take that swing, he'll have a real chance to connect that opening duel.
That the TV's behind them as well. A rough idea of where these opponents could be. The operator not quite connecting, but the rifle has been found. Oh, Batu tagged up. A lot of additional damage. Chance for an individual fight, but doesn't know where the remainder is of Governor, who will...
information back to FNATIC about what spaces of the map they're still trying to play for and use.
Well, this will be the info, though.
You want to fight it?
Time to go.
Kaajak, dimensional drift. You don't know where he's going to be. Already will spot 2 players out on Heaven, but the execution has begun. 15 seconds. Apeks need to make a move on. Boaster's just going to be pre-fired through.
10 seconds left.
That's the opener that they needed. Chronicle. It was a potential opportunity, but the fight's not quite going nowhere. At least they won. A quick pick. Alfajer not going to clear, and because of that, that double duelist been dodged, avoided already. And Nightfall's going to clear out the site. The problem is there was no one there. FNATIC far more passive in this scenario. They've seen a man in the backlines, but they are very quickly being able to get back into position. The danger, though, is on the other side of the map. This run around all the way through spawn. If AvovA can get there in time, this could ruin everything.
Shift walking just in time, popping down some stars, trying to buy that little bit of extra time. Chronicle onto Florescent, though. That must have been through the smoke. and looking by the walls, we saw it indeed. And a little bit more found now from Alfajer. AvovA, though, makes his presence known, but it's only for one. Still, FNATIC on their way to the site, grabbing themselves a half diffuser, trying to. The grab well comes into play. AvovA buying more time as Heaven has now seized the sprays in the smoke are good. And it's only one Boaster on the stick, and he'll get it! Stay away inside of B main. Both players sitting just meters from each other as Governor rounds the corner, though he's the one to win the fight, with AvovA winning the battle of the Astras. The B site seems open for business. They certainly think it is, but kaajak's rotated in early, and a double pickup puts us back to square footing. That push onto site delayed, and the reposition from kaajak, the high-low, it's not worked out. And it's Chronicle to fall with battle scars on kaajak. He's lucky to still be alive. Pressure on for Alfajer with the plant now secured.
Eden will do a little bit of chip damage. That showstopper you mentioned is now online in the post, but I don't think they're going to need it. Alfajer, I also want to add, and other than the initial...
on FNATIC.
Hello.
2 timeouts used in quick succession. A split seems to slip out of their grasp. A shot almost landed. The gate crash.
It's enough, though.
Yeah.
Should be enough.
I think Boaster's still here. He's picked up Florescent, waiting for them to come out of the smoke, but the Bulldog doesn't have that much of a bite this time. Although look who's just been spotted. They know where AvovA is, and it seemed like kaajak wanted to take him down.
Both Yoros just about escaped. Death them all, taking their time. Expecting some counter utility. The paint shell's already used, the snake bite already used, so any form of denial has already gone. AvovA is going to get back around into the pit, now flashing through, waiting on the other side. It's a running shot that takes out kaajak. Mentioned this point, making it through any of that utility is impossible at this stage. Like trying to find any sort of hole in this post plant. And you mentioned it in the moment that the spike wasn't down, but I actually really like that from Apeks. It's basically not allowing what utility was there from FNATIC to risk disrupting anything they were doing. They just hold, wait, stay calm.
And you can spam through our Viper's pit.
2 players here. Chronicle is the one man I wouldn't want to face. Never mind! Batu pulling out the BS once again. A spray straight through. Now Alpha, whoa, he's spotted the cross, but hasn't denied him.
He'll go for the sneak up. They've got deep B main control, but the TP comes out and they're starting to fade away. They think that player inside the vent is signaling a lead that was theirs for oh so long. And it seemed set to close this out 2-0 to lock in qualification to playoffs. But that may be a bumpier road than anticipated.
The league is like someone stepping
this
in.
Map, a bunch of times he's been spamming through smokes and taking players down, so now he gets to be on the receiving end of it. Push up from Alfajer, and he's going deep for the fight, chasing them away from the A site, and the response, an immediate ult used to clear out B. Fade sent in, and oh, it doesn't quite catch Boaster.
That does
Still very much waiting for this player to come out of his ult!
What is that?
Find him anyways. Batu's been on one.
Oh, no one's taking that back to the training ground. That was messy, but it works out. Chronicle has immediately responded, though. FNATIC never down until they're out, and oh, they forgot about Alfajer. They thought, oh, you know, he's pushed up, he's taken control, but he'll go back. No, he's actually sitting in the spawn, just chilling, just waiting for them to try and respond. Chronicle with another one. But you can see the immediate response from MOLSI is going to try and get that little bit of hold in case they try and move back, and with a stack up on this side, it could be huge, but never mind. kaajak with an immediate opener. AvovA on the site needs to try and hold his ground. The timing looks good, but it's only Florescent to find anything. And while with seconds left, an attempt, well, a risky attempt to try and deny the spike. That was all that was really available there.
Yeah, it's just faded away. That timing perfect. Now kaajak under pressure. He gets a second gate crash out. Has a way to fall back, but takes the fight instead. At least landing one before falling. They might think that he was solo on this side. They're certainly not aware of Chronicle. They're not looking, and that's a big mistake. He only gets one for his trouble, though. An underwhelming performance considering it is Chronicle up there given the opportunity.
There's a second layer to it, though. such a quick response from Alfajer, but he just wants to hold onto the ground, try and get some information. In fact, that's Florescent forced back into an angle that is basically a 1 versus 1, unless MOLSI swings, which MOLSI cannot swing. They're holding him in position, at least for now. Florescent, though, repositions are so important, but it leaves them all caught to the back of the site. A chance for FNATIC to just garner all of this extra space without too much resistance. That time, however, is ticking lower and lower. Just holding on to this late ground. They need to get towards the spike as quickly as humanly possible. Alfajer will be there, and well, I think the time has already gone. Just rushing around will be. MOLSI needs to get onto this spike. It is done. We continue. Chronicle is in this position.
It's all closed.
I don't know if Batu have any idea. And on the other side of the map, an aggressive push into B main hasn't worked out. It's a response, it's a counter, and that's now a 2-player advantage for FNATIC.
Yeah, this is it. The more data that you give them, the more chance that they had the numbers up correctly. FNATIC putting the pieces to this puzzle together ahead of time. Governor trying his best, but Chronicle, we said through the smokes, he's been good. He's done it through the wall now. And AvovA and MOLSI left to pick up the pieces. What remains? A picture that looks bleak. AvovA's in no man's land. crashies is on the flank as well. He's on his way up and not even needed. kaajak puts MOLSI to bed. And AvovA, well, the element of
Chronicle to be a little bit further back towards A main. AvovA's good for 1.
No, time's going. Keep going with your best.
13 to 14, and that's the thing for Apeks. If we go to OT again, they now need a new adaptation to that A-hold. It's being figured out.
Massive direct.
It's a while before we get there. kaajak, 1 is all he's good for. And a flurry of frags for Apeks. They're right back in the game. Well, talked about if they get to another OT. Well, the coaches better start thinking about what's going to happen to that defensive hold, because it looks like they'll get another swing at it. Boaster and Chronicle, 2 versus 4 to make this attempt. And we've seen the elbows stack up before. It was Apeks with 2 players. I think it was MOLSI and Florescent.
Yeah.
In the firing squad last time around. That was enough. This time they've got 4 back there, stacked up and ready to swing. If anything comes of this for FNATIC, it will be a play that's talked about for a long time to come.
Chronicle has a few of those.
Yeah.
Snakebite in hand could make it awkward, but already dinked. Makes it any worse. They're also denying Boaster any additional space. He's the only one with any HP remaining, and AvovA's just sat on the other side with a shorty. The time at this stage is 2.
FNATIC now, as they'll make their way up through the ropes, assuming that Apeks are still pushed up. Prowler clears all the space. They now know there should be a fight up close. The spams come in, and Governor is forced back.
Ready to move from Batu back to the site. They've wasted a lot of time. They will now try to make that move forward. Gravwell to push him out of position. In fact, MOLSI's gone down. That's a big kill from Alpha. And while, again, it goes down to the last few seconds, but as always, the execution from FNATIC is perfect.
Right, the time down low again, but it has worked.
It's worked every time. I feel like we can't even really question it at this stage when it goes down to those last few seconds, and it never seems to go wrong.
Except for that plant on Lotus, but yeah, other than that, everything's been working out, and it will again this time.
But it might be actually that Apeks look like they're positioning to fake this A hit, have the Yuri.
It's only kaajak.
Looking crashies with the C's, and that's exactly, he's thrown the C's, he's slowed them all down. That could be the perfect piece. Utility as kaajak comes up behind. Dimensional drift gives them all the information, knows exactly where they are, can hold them in position, can try and make things awkward as crashies, picks up 1 more, it's left all onto Batu. Has an ult of his own, a chance to try and at least get his way to the site, but there is no one giving him anything. They are sitting back, ready to fight this one together.
Surely this can't be the play to keep Apeks in it. It's been nothing but attack side success. Burning the midnight oil here. They've gone the distance, but 16 to 14 seems set in stone. Batu with an ace clutch, if he is, to buy another opportunity for Apeks. And they've just heard that shot. They know where he is. A chance to take down 1, but missed the win.